me for the YouTube subscribers. Well, subscriber rate. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe if I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
UFC Vegas 65, Lewis versus Spivak, back at the Apex in Las Vegas. I'll be breaking down the main card, providing free picks, leans, and what to avoid like always, guys. I'm not expecting a big client card. I do like a few plays, though. They will be sent out to my clients if you want those. Systemsportscapping.com to subscribe today. UFC 281 recap. Let's do a recap here, guys. What a card, right? What a card. All finishes on the main card. 2 new champions. One expected with Wei Li. we expected that. Was all over her in all markets. Pereira, maybe not as much. A little bit of an upset. But he keeps showing that he's able to beat Israel no matter what the sport is now, right? Crazy finish there. Pereira, obviously, the striking is very high level. The power's for real. And, Israel's winning that fight. He's winning that fight 3-1 on all judges' scorecards. Used some wrestling, which was surprising. Some grappling. It looked okay. Especially against a bigger guy. Pereira came in there huge. He came in there big, probably 200, maybe a little more. So he was still able to wrestle Israel. Israel doesn't come in heavy, remember. 185, he's probably coming in not too much more than that. Pereira definitely was, I thought he would gas maybe later in the fight, like 4th, 5th round, but he kind of saved it because 4th round he didn't look great. And then 5th round, like he saved everything. And he just came out and got the finish. Was it an early stoppage? Maybe. It's a championship fight. His head was kind of down, though. He's going to get hurt, I think. He was maybe eventually drop if he keeps punching him like that. I thought he could maybe move out of the way or go for a takedown to try to stop the bleeding, I guess, in the 5th round and the domination from Pereira, but he wasn't able to. Pereira was able to get that belt. Will we see a 4th fight? Probably. Probably. This could be, though, Israel's kryptonite, the guy he just never beats, which I did mention it in the video. I missed out on a couple smaller unit bets on the card. No profit on the card, mainly due to the Israel loss. Did have a smaller unit play with him with Hooker. What else? I had Wei Li in a 2-fight parlay. That missed out due to having the Frankie Edgar fight Gutierrez over 2.5 rounds. He got caught again with another knee. I was thinking that Frankie could get this fight down in the ground, similar to Cheeto fight, right? That Cheeto fight, he was able to get the fight down to the ground, and then he got caught in the 3rd round, right? So if Frankie was able to get a hold of Gutierrez, it could have been a long fight. Unfortunately, the knee came through, and that's a tough way to see Frankie go out, right? A legend of the sport, was a guy I followed growing up, liking the sport, and tough to see he ends it there, especially at home. I was on Hooker. Hooker won his fight. Weird fight. The guy was just laying on the ground trying to look for submissions. If that guy's going to continue to fight like that, he's not going to be in the UFC long, even though he did have some promise. Hooker, the much better striker, which I advised to you guys. If Hooker was able to keep it on the feet, he wins the fight easily. That's what he was able to do. And then I had Israel with Hooker in a smaller play, looking good up until the 5th round, right? It looked like it was going to cash, but Pereira was able to find the finish. Update here, little regression as expected after that big run, 85% run for the month there, and then 70% run, and now down to 63. The regression has come. It's expected. It's going to happen. The way to turn around that regression is just get back in there, grind, get profit, and avoid a longer-term regression. That's what we're looking to do here this week. Still 65% best bets over 5 years, guys. That's long-term, 65% best bets. Shorter term, maybe not as impressive for a best bet, but for 5 years, very happy with that. We don't have a ton. We don't have a ton of best bets throughout the year, but that 50, 65% 5 years is over 80 bets, so it's a lot. Up and down week in the NFL. If Dallas didn't blow the big 14-point lead, it would have been an almost perfect week. All over Pitts, plus 1.5 money line and free underdog bet of the week on my NFL video. If you're not watching those, check those out every week. 2-1 in the prop market, 1-1 totals. Missed out on a teaser and money line due to Dallas. 47-29 run in the NFL, highlighted by totals and props at 67% on the year. That's my best markets this year. PGA, a bit of regression. It's been a bit of regression in a handful of sports the past few weeks. You expect that when you go on a huge two-month run there. So it's not always, I don't win all the time, guys. If anyone tells you that, they're lying. There's going to be regression throughout the year. I bet on sports full-time all the time. You're not going to have a winning week, winning month all the time. It doesn't work like that. Bit of regression here in the PGA. Burns was my main play, top 20. He withdrawed in the second round. Too bad. He played a round, you get screwed. So that was tough there. Just under 80 units, 65% best bets long term as well. And it's 6 straight profitable majors, guys. NHL, NBA, low volume in the NBA. We hit a Mavs money line the other day. NHL's been up and down, but we've been doing well in single bets. A single bet winner this week with Calgary. And also, what was the other one? An under in the Nashville-Minnesota game. So we're doing good there. We missed on a few parlays that I had, 2-team parlays with favorites in the NHL. A lot of underdogs are coming through in the NHL. So the run's nice in the NHL going back to last year at 66%, 50 and 26. Very happy with that, especially in the NHL. This year's been up and down so far. World Cup, guys. World Cup is a few days away. Packages are now available for the World Cup. Shout out to the guys that already purchased it. Thanks for anyone that's purchased it. A ton of research I'm putting into this. I handicap international soccer, not club soccer. Euro Cup, if you guys have been long-term clients with me, you know how good I did there in the Euro Cup. We're attacking the World Cup a lot. I'm going to be focusing just on the World Cup the next 3 weeks to a month. So look out for those plays. I'll send out some free plays as well. Check out my Twitter. I'm posting out free future plays throughout the tournament, before the tournament, so give me a follow there. Systemsportscapping.com is where obviously you can get it. Like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, guys. And System Capping on all social media. So let's hear from my friend Meredith before we get into this card.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Guys, shop around. I stress this every time. Have multiple books. It's going to help you out in the long run and to profit more due to numbers. Numbers are different on books. Only so many times I can tell you that. Main event, Lewis, plus 160 versus Spivak, minus 190. Lewis is back, which means we should see a finish, especially in a 5-round fight. 5-round fights means this fight is going to end before the 5 rounds. Things haven't been going great for Lewis as of late, right? No secret. He got knocked out in round 1 by the Russian Pavlovich, and round 2 KO against Tuivasa. These KOs are adding up for Lewis. His 7th of his career, and he is 37 now. With Spivak, 2-fight winning streak. When he's fought the higher competition like an Aspinall, he lost. I don't put Lewis up in the higher competition. Not at this age. Not with a guy that's just a one-shot power type of guy. Even though he has caught it many times throughout his career, we have seen it. That's what you're relying on. You're relying that Lewis catches Spivak in the first or second round to win the fight. When I see a guy like Spivak who can wrestle, who has been improving in his striking, I have to look his way, right? Very good wrestler, over 4 takedowns per fight. I expect him to try to get this fight down to the ground. And if he gets down to the ground, you know, Lewis could get up, but it's going to be tiring. If Spivak continues to chain wrestle throughout the fight, try to grapple, submission is live as well for Spivak. So look at that there. I just don't expect him to stand and bang. Why stand and bang with the most dangerous guy in the division to do that with? Right, so Spivak has improving his striking. Yes, he could hurt Lewis on the feet. He's going to be probably quicker on the feet as well. But if you continue to play with that fire throughout the first and second round and stay on your feet, that big shot could come. Right, Spivak has been knocked out before. So that's the only concern I have here. I am going to be on the Spivak side. It's just you're playing with fire still. Always Lewis is live. Now, if you're watching this fight and you see Spivak struggling to take him down to the ground, then you may want to look at that Lewis side. Look at that Lewis side for live betting purposes. But to start this card and at the beginning of this fight, I'm going to be on the Spivak side. Lewis, again, older now. Those KOs are adding up, in my opinion. And there's just a big wrestling advantage here. If this was more of a, guy that was just a striker, doesn't have that 4 takedowns per fight, that's high in the heavyweight division, guys. Then I would be a little more worried. The price isn't terrible here. Straight bet, maybe not, but you just get the finish prop minus 125, minus 130. I don't see this fight going 5 rounds. Spivak gets this fight out of the ground. There's going to be a TKO or a submission at some point. So I do like Spivak here. Probably will have a bet on him as well for clients. Again, Lewis is live to catch you. I understand that. It's going to be there. It's just when a guy just has one path to finish, I always like to look on the other side. Co-main event, we have Kennedy back. Kennedy, the Nigerian. I hate pronouncing his last name, so I won't. Minus 170 versus Kutalaba, plus 150. Here comes the man with the biggest reach I've seen. 83-inch reach and an 8-inch reach advantage in this one against Kutalaba. Kennedy's starting to use that reach and jab in his fights. Showing some grappling as well in wrestling. He showed it against Roberson. Roberson, 0 wrestling. Keep that in mind. Much shorter reach as well. It's a step up for Kennedy, and we'll have to avoid the wrestling from Kutalaba, in my opinion. Kutalaba is a great wrestler. So I do think, Kennedy's just going to try to keep this on the feet, use that reach. But this fight's going to probably have fireworks all over it. I don't see it going all 3 rounds. So that could be a look here. Fight not to go to the distance. From a side standpoint, here's Kutalaba's path. If he could actually just wrestle and hold him down, I think he's going to be the stronger guy in there. That is his path. To stand up on the feet and hopefully catch him with a big shot. I don't know. We've seen him be very durable, Kennedy, taking a big shot. So I see Kennedy, if he can keep it on the feet, use that reach, and win this fight. And I don't think he's a fish out of water when it gets down to the ground. I think he has some submission game. I think he can wrestle as well. But Kutalaba's path, I think, would be to wrestle. But I think Kennedy would pick him apart on the feet. So Kutalaba is just a wild card, guys. He's not a guy really to bet with or bet against. You never know where you're going to get from the guy. One of the more unpredictable guys, in my opinion, especially in this division. I'm going to be staying away from this one from a side standpoint. Am I excited of a Kennedy minus 175? No. The line is not good here. So I can't get to this price at minus 175. I don't like the fight to go all 3 rounds, so you may want to look at that. And I lean Kennedy for video purposes, but I won't be betting aside here. Sherman plus 175 versus Acosta minus 210. You know what I say, guys. Mid-tier, below-tier heavyweights, here we go. Acosta just fought 3 weeks ago as well. It's a little bit concerning. He didn't look good in the fight as well versus Vanderaa. Vanderaa is very low level, one of the worst heavyweights in the division, in my opinion. And he kind of struggled with him. Vanderaa was working a kick there. He was able to stand and bang with him, even though he did lose. Acosta, we were actually on Acosta for video purposes, but I thought he would find a finish throughout the fight. He didn't. He struggled with him. And Sherman's a much better striker than Vanderaa. So I think if Sherman could keep this on the feet and strike, there's some value at plus 175. It's very difficult to bet a Chase Sherman who was cut about, a few months ago. So, it just, if you gun to my head, I'm going to look at the price at plus 175. I think Sherman is a decent striker on the feet. So I'm going to have to lean his way at plus 175. Am I betting this fight? Definitely not. But play for video purposes will be Sherman plus 175. Falalo minus 105 versus Salikov minus 115. This is a good fight. It tells you by the price. Not an easy fight to predict. Salikov's coming off a loss after 5 straight wins against a dangerous Chinese fighter in Lee. Lee actually KO'd him in that fight. It was just back in July. Falalo was also coming off a loss to Jake Matthews where he actually got finished as well. Some hype around Falalo before that loss, right? Back-to-back wins versus Baez, who's a prospect in this division. No longer a prospect. I've lost money on him because thinking that as well, and he's just very chinny. And then he beat Van Camp in an easier fight. He's now 2-2 in the UFC. Doesn't have the experience Salikov has. I think Salikov has a grappling advantage. He does have a sambo background. Nice trips. Very tough hips. I like Salikov in this fight. Decent price here. It just Falal has that 1K power. He has that power to hurt you. Does have good boxing. I think he probably has a better stand-up. It's close. Line tells you that it's close. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a finish later in this fight. But yeah, I'm going to lean Salikov here due to the experience. Fought the better guys. Salikov's going to be the play for me. Last fight here, Mandalena minus 550 versus Roberts plus 330. Not much to say about this fight besides I really like Mandalena. Big price here for a good reason. High level prospect. Look at his volume, right? One of the higher stats in the category, even though he is fighting mainly one-round fights. 8 significant strikes landed per minute, guys. Jack's 2 UFC fights, both KOs in the first round. Roberts, chinny guy. He come off a loss to Trinaldi, an older man. Still has it a bit, but Roberts' durability is a concern. He's been finished in twice in his last 5 fights. I expect Mandalena to kind of just cruise through this fight. He doesn't even have a grappling wrestling advantage if it gets there. I don't think it will. I think Mandalena will hurt him on the feet. Probably get a finish in this fight as well if you want to kind of reduce that minus 550 and you like him enough. Maybe a finish could be something, or part of a parlay piece as well, 2-fight parlay. A little high, but I'm high on the guy. Roberts, just a journeyman. He doesn't have any significant wins or anything like that. Good striker. He can strike a bit, but he does seem a little bit fragile and durability concerns. That will do it, guys. That will do it. A day late. We had some recording issues, so I had to film it later on again. It was just a disaster, but I always don't miss a week, guys. I haven't missed a week for years and years. So hopefully you do enjoy the videos. NFL video out today as well. So look out for that. And then, guys, World Cup's coming. Focused heavily on the World Cup. Get that package. It's a guaranteed package. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.